What's up everybody, and thank you for joining me for another video. My name is Whack4863, but you can call me Whack. In today's video, we're looking at the public beta branch for Conan Exiles that currently has the Age of Sorcery Chapter 2. Now, you are able to play the public beta branch if you own the game on Steam. All you need to do is go to Steam and look for Conan Exiles public beta branch and download the secondary version of the game. The update is scheduled to go live on all platforms, both console and PC, on September 21st, 2023. Let's go through some of the biggest changes to the Purge. First of all, you no longer have a Purge meter. That is completely gone. What you have now is an interactable coffer where you are going to actually summon the Purge. So the Purge is actually a fully opt-in system. It's something you decide to interact with. This means that you no longer have to wait for your Purge meter to fill, and you no longer have to wait for certain times to summon the Purge. You can jump in game, go to your coffer, interact with that, and summon a Purge right away. Purge levels range from 1 to 10, depending on how much loot you actually have in your coffer. Now, you cannot summon a Purge without loot in your coffer. You have to have the coffer say that you are at least at threat level 1 in order to get a Purge to come to your base. I've already done quite a bit of testing on this, and I will have multiple videos explaining different aspects of the Purge in future videos on my channel, so I do recommend subscribing for further updates. I am going to go through some highlights of the Purge system real quick. Essentially, there are pass-fails with the Purge system. So, the Purge will target your coffer. Their main goal is to steal your loot, and if they steal enough of your loot, the Purge will end with a fail. If enemies during that Purge destroy enough of your base to make it impossible to reach your coffer, you will also lose. The Purge will leave. The only way to defeat the Purge is for you to slay enough enemies in the waves that come in order to have the final boss spawn and go out and defeat him in order to loot keys from his body. The keys are essentially the biggest part of the Purge. That's how you're going to get the rewards from the forward operating base. The forward operating base is where all of the Purge enemies are going to come from. So you're no longer going to have Purge enemies spawning inside of your base. In fact, if you're built in a way that the enemies can't make it to your coffer, you are going to receive an error message letting you know that the Purge was unable to spawn because of X reason. If you're running into those error messages, you're likely going to have to move your coffer to a different section of your base or move your base entirely to make it accessible to the Purge. Now, that's a very high-level helicopter view of the Purge system, but like I said, I will be posting more videos about the Purge in the near future, so stay tuned to my channel for those. There has been a complete loot rework, so you should find better items in chests and on the bodies of dead enemies when you loot them, things that make more sense to that specific area. So if you're fighting Dafari, you should find Dafari style loot. If you're fighting Sumerians, you should find Sumerian style loot, and so on and so forth. Legendary chests have been moved. They are no longer going to spawn next to a world boss. Now, you can still receive the skeleton key from the world bosses, but you are only going to find legendary chests in and at the end of dungeons. There have also been various interactable items placed around the exiled lands, much like we've seen in the Isle of Sipta, where you can walk up to a spear that's sitting up against a wall, interact with it, and actually pick up that spear. So keep your eyes out for those types of items. In addition to that, we have a big change to RNG when it comes to the Library of Esoteric Artifacts and the Void Forge. So you're no longer going to get a completely random recipe. Instead, there's been a system put in place where the recipes will be given to you in a specific order. There's been some perk changes. The Steel Thread perk now prevents your character from taking more than 33% damage per hit instead of 25% damage. So this means you'll be able to be killed in 3 hits instead of 4. Last stand now lasts for 3 seconds, reduced from 6 seconds. Bows now do less damage the further the arrow travels. Orbs will now detonate instantly on impact, regardless of heavy or light throws, so you don't have to watch that orb bounce off of what you were trying to hit and just roll away. Javelins and missile type weapons have had their damage increased. Priests can no longer summon a god bubble. That's correct. There are no longer god bubbles for those of you on PvP. We'll see how long this lasts and what is coming in the near future to maybe make sense of why the god bubble is gone. There's also been a tweak to avatars. They now last 10 times longer and they do 10 times less damage with their attacks. I think that means that avatars actually last for 10 minutes. I haven't logged in and tried it out, but I'm pretty sure they were a minute before, so they should last for 10 minutes now, but do 10 times less damage. It's also now possible for you to get out of the avatar should you want to by pressing the crouch button. You'll be able to escape the avatar and take back control of your character. Trebuchet health has been increased from 5,000 to 10,000, and the crafting time for trebuchets has been greatly decreased to a total of 10 minutes. I don't know how long it took to create trebuchets before this, but 10 minutes still seems like a decent amount of time. There's a handful of general bug fixes that are listed on the patch notes. I'm not going to go over all of those. I'll link them in the description of this video. Likely the most important part of the bug fixes are the invisible enemies and then the crashing that's been happening on Sipta. They did announce that they have been working on that, and those issues should be fixed with this future patch. There's been a couple of combat fixes. They're not represented in the patch notes. However, they did mention one of them in the live stream, and that is that you are able to slightly turn while you're attacking. Basically, prior to when damage happens with your attack, you're able to slightly turn one way or another to actually hit your intended target. They've given this to thralls and NPCs as well, so you'll notice that they're a little bit better at hitting you than they were before. Additionally, I feel like there's been another change that's happened with the combat. I haven't quite put my finger on it, but I'm going to continue doing some testing, and hopefully I'll be able to put my finger on it, and I'll make a video about that once I have it tested out and figured out. But something just feels a little bit different when it comes to combat. For those of you that are wondering about the mount, that has been moved to Chapter 3. They said they ran into some roadblocks with that, so it didn't make it into Chapter 2. However, there is a new pet. It is a snake pet. So if that's something you're interested in, keep an eye out for snake eggs or baby snakes so that you can turn those into your pets. So that's basically it in a nutshell for the things that I really want to cover with this video. I will have multiple videos showing a lot more in-depth things with the Purge. I can't fit them all in one video, so I'll make multiple videos explaining the different mechanics that have come with the Purge, and then I will be testing and showing off other changes that have happened with Age of War Chapter 2, so I hope you'll look forward to future videos from my channel. Don't forget to whack the like button on your way out, and I'd like to know in the comment section below, what are you most excited for with the Age of War Chapter 2? I'd like to thank all my YouTube members for your continued support. Y'all are absolute legends. If you'd like to become a legend, there's a button that says join on this page. Click that for details. There's 2 videos on the screen. Click one of those to watch next, and I'll meet you over there.